now starting to get real at the front of the field. How do I know that? Because Felipe Nasr is flashing his lights. And once you're on the flasher button, Jeremy, that's it. He means it now. This is it. And those headlights actually are very, very bright indeed. And with the light beginning to fade, there's no way that Renger van der Zande didn't know he was there, but just trying to take the attention of the Dutchman in the lead of the race at the moment.
Yeah, and I think van der Zande, he's just being, you said it right, absolutely right a couple of minutes ago, John. I think he's just driving his pace still at the moment. It's still just under 20 minutes remaining in this race, and he knows if he doesn't make a mistake and he puts that car in the right positions, then it's going to be awfully difficult for Nasr to make a pass. So he's just going to be a little bit conservative, but at the same time push, particularly through turns 1 and 2, to make sure he gets a good run onto the main straightly into turn 3. That's the best place to make an overtaking manoeuvre, as Nasr took it a bit deep on the brakes that time around. He wasn't close enough to make a pass and lost himself a little bit of ground.
Got a proper battle now for second place in GT Daytona, with Ross Gunn less than half a second away from Bill Oberlin in the Turner Motorsport BMW M6. BMW M6 GT3 coming to the end of its life as a top-line racing car. I'm sure plenty will find their way into other teams' hands. The new M4 GT3 unveiled recently and will be making its competition debut in, I think, the next round actually of the Nürburgring Langstrecke series, the NLS, and we'll have that for you in sound and vision as well across the Radio Show Limited network of audio and visual channels. Yes, Shea.
Farnbacher is into the pit lane. We were not expecting to see the Compass Racing Acura once again, and Mario had been turning very good times. He just did his personal best lap of the race, that lap before coming in. This is a problem for Compass, and they were 5th in the Sprint Championship at the start of this race.
Well, we'll try and find out whether this is a regulation stop or not. He's got just under 18 minutes to go, and the battle at the lead of the field is still going on. They will know, Jeremy, because they'll be talking to their teams. They've got the readout, they have sensors, they'll know what their fuel numbers are, and I'm sure they've been asked to hit a fuel number earlier on. I will know when the lap times start to come down if they've been given the green light to go full rich to the end of the race.
Yeah, number 76 car, that was the first car to make its driver change, I think, after 17 laps. The number 96, number 12 came in just 1 lap later. Bill Oberlin currently running in second place, looking to make it 2 wins in a row for Turner Motorsports in that BMW.
Got an interesting warning on the race control channel that Shea Adam has picked up for us.
Low over boost limits exceeded. Another warning for the 10 Koenig Minolta Acura. That's the second warning that car has gotten. This one mechanical. The last one was incident responsibility. Side by side
for that number 10 and the 55 Mazda, and that is a battle for the last spot on the podium, and right in behind the Loic Duval is there for Mustang Sampling JDC Miller Motorsport. What Shea was talking about there is live data coming from the cars to their pits, of course, but also independently to IMSA Technical, and they are watching the turbo boost levels on all of the turbocharged cars up and down the field. Now, the fact that it is low overboost means that it is the first part. It's like when you set yourself a data limit on your phone, and you set yourself a little warning when you get within a gig or whatever. That's the sort of thing that we're talking about there. So IMSA Technical have seen that and have passed on the warning to the team over the system, and they'll all see that on the switched message system. Now at the front of the field for a moment, Jeremy, Renger van der Zande has a little bit of cover as the Gradient Acura was in between his Cadillac and the chasing one of Felipe Nasr, but now they're back together again. But this battle for third position, this looks pretty tasty, Jeremy, with the Acura, the Mazda and the Cadillac, the 3 different manufacturers all battling together to turn 7.
Yeah, really interesting, isn't it? And they seem very, very closely matched. But again, it's so tough to make a move here. The turn 1-2 complex, that first, the right hand and the left over the little bridge and onto the longest straightaway. That's a critical corner here. If you can get through that corner fast, get to carry the momentum all the way down the straightaway and not leave anybody an opportunity to make a move into turn 3, that's really that's what you've got to concentrate on the most here as a driver when you're fending off a potentially faster car.
Yeah, you've got to plan your overtaking. Perfect passes are the order of the day. You can't be sort of half-hearted about it. You've got to go, you've got to get into position, you've got to let the driver in the car you're trying to pass, whether it's for position or you're going past another category, you've got to let him know where you're going to put the car and really leave him no choice but to let you through. If you're half-hearted about it, that's when misunderstandings, Hindhoff says rather diplomatically, happen, and it gives the opportunity for the door to be closed, and you don't want to do that at all with just under 14 minutes to go. The battle at the front of the field is right on again as well. It's under 0.4 of a second. Van der Zande and Felipe Nasr picking up their pace again. 21.5 last time around for Van der Zande, at 20.8 for Felipe Nasr. So any thought about saving fuel now has gone out the window, I think, for those two and for the three battling for third position. We've got 5 cars battling for 3 podium positions, and frankly, I can't tell you which of those positions are going to be filled by which of those cars at the moment. What a great 13 minutes we've got to the end of this race, Jeremy.
Yeah, tremendous race unfolding here. Just a great battle at the front here between these two Cadillacs, and Renger van der Zande just doing a masterful job. At the moment, this, of course, is a team that has yet to win on its return to the prototypes with Chip Ganassi Racing. Well, they've won so many races over the years, well over 200 wins now for that team in all competitions, and they've been fast every race this season. They've had the fastest lap of the race, or shared it in one occasion, in every race this season. But they haven't even had a podium so far, as Shay pointed out earlier on. So that's what they want to do, not only be on the podium, they want that first win of the season. And Cadillac and Chip Ganassi's first win for Cadillac on the home ground here in Motown.
Yeah, this would be a big win for Cadillac, a big win for Chip Ganassi. Very much putting themselves in the frame for the GM LMDH programme that is still yet to be announced. We wait and wait. There's been at least a couple or 3 times that I thought we might have heard something. There were strong rumours that something would be in the timeline this weekend. There's a new head of the racing side of things, Laura Wondrup-Klausner, who is very clear that they won't be rushed into a decision. They want to get it right and choose the right brand, the right platform for each of their racing endeavours. I think it's fair to say that the somewhat untidy announcement from BMW and from BMW M, their racing department, might have slightly made Cadillac or Corvette or GM reconsider whether it was the right time to announce something. Very interesting that it sort of snuck out after a announcement of a sponsorship by BMW of the Bayern State Opera, and they took the Jenny Holzer art car to the Bayern State Opera House, parked it on the stage, and that was the image they used. Now, if they bring that back to Daytona in 2023, they'll have a full house, I tell you. Because that thing rattle the rafters. Don't think it will. Oh, now Bill Oberlin, I think he's out of fuel. You talked about this, Jeremy, the 96 Turner BMW, and when it was last in the pits, and people coming in from GTD, that car is touring on the far side of the circuit. I think that's dead stick, Jeremy.
Yeah, I do too. And Shea nailed this. She said it earlier on that we're going to be struggling for fuel in GTD. We've already seen one car into the pits. Now we've got a second that's stopped on the course. This is probably going to bring out a full course caution. Certainly a local caution at the moment only.
Well, there was no other car involved. Oberlin had been running in second through turn 5. He's not anywhere near getting home. And it's
been right behind him.
Yeah, he'd been racing Ross Gunn, you're right, for quite some time. And that car is, I'm afraid, with no fire in the cylinders of the M6. It won't be an all taco weekend. Shea Adam.
I have the answer from Robbie Foley. The gearbox exploded. That's why Bill came to a stop.
Right, okay.
Oof.
I thought it would be interesting if they'd missed their calculations. The Turner guys are pretty good at that sort of thing. The leaders go past Ross Gunn, now second for Heart of Racing, and the Aston Martin Vantage and Heart of Racing team, Jeremy, just get better as the season go on, as we've gone full course yellow with 9 minutes to go for the recovery of the 96 car. We've got a retirement as well. Shea Adam, you can tell us about that.
That is from the 76 Compass Racing Acura. I almost said the M.
I did that. I made that mistake, so you didn't have to.
But yes, they are behind the wall. I'm trying to figure out what the problem was there, but that's going to bring us up to 4 cars officially retired because the Turner Motorsports BMW is not going to be able to continue. It is good news for those cars that were close on fuel, but it's bad news for everybody who is enjoying the green flag.
Yeah, pits are closed at the moment. In fact, this is being called as we are under 15 minutes to the end of the race. This will be another short yellow. So the pits will not open under this yellow flag period. So all we'll do is get back up behind the Cadillac safety car and try and get back to green as quickly as possible. It did look like the Turner BMW was still rolling, so my little optimistic soul says if we can get a tow rope onto that and flat tow it round, it was partway down the strand, I think. If we can get that car pulled round to turn, there's an exit at turn 9, isn't there, into the back of the fountain area, and we might be able to get back running with something better than a green-white checker. Shea Adam has a VP Racing fuel pit and paddock report on the Compass Acura.
What's one thing that's very important around this street course, John? Brakes. What was happening in the Acura? The brake pedal was going straight to the floor. There was a fair amount of damage to the front of the car early on in the race, so they are guessing that this is something triggered by that lap 1 accident. That will make the,
I reckon, 4 cars retired, all GT Daytonas. Bill Oberlin, the latest one, with a gearbox that is somewhat toothless in every sense of that description. So the BMW M6 GT3 will go no further. We've already had issues for the Acura NSX, as reported by Shea of Compass Racing, the number 76, the Allegra Motorsport Mercedes AMG GT3. Daniel Moore brought that car into the pits with damage and could go no further. And of course, the only Porsche in the race, Team Hardpoint EBM, was the first car out. The number 88 car in the wall with Rob Furriel at the wheel. Severe damage to the right front. That car could not continue, had to come back on the flat bed. 6.5 minutes to go, and there'll be a lot, Jeremy Shaw, of either very happy and relieved team chiefs and drivers, or very worried ones if they can't get into the pits and they were hoping to come for a splash towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and right before we went to yellow, it seems as though Townsend Bell had managed to get past Brian Sellers. That was the 6th position.
Correct. In
the GTD class. It must have happened right beforehand because the previous lap they were almost nose to tail. Well, they were nose to tail, but he must have made the pass just before we went to full course caution. And I think, Jeff Westphal. The problem is Jeff Westphal had not been lapped by the leaders. They were all leaders, so he's effectively a whole lap ahead of everybody else. So that is something that's going to have to be reset before we go back to green. I think the GTD leaders everybody except the GTD leader is going to have to be waved past. And that's happening right now.
It is exactly
past
so.
the safety car, and they will go around to the back of the pack. So that's unfortunate. That's going to eat up a bit more time. Last time around for the safety car was 2 minutes 46. We've only got 5 minutes remaining. So if they can, those guys are going to have to hustle. I think they're probably going to go green next time around.
I'd agree
and
with
everybody
that.
else in GTD is going to struggle to catch up to the back of the pack before we go green. If they are able to, then we'll have probably a 2-lap run to the finish.
They're all going to have very warm Michelin tyres though, from the 23 on down. All of the little green ants are on the strand at the moment, heading towards turn 7, and we'll take this opportunity to get a VP Racing Fuel update from Shea Adam on Corvette.
Yes, Corvette Racing, the order has been given. You guys are allowed to race, just don't hit each other. And remember, a few years ago, gosh, it was 2016 now actually, so quite a long time ago, it was Oliver Gavin versus Antonio Garcia for the watch at Daytona. They treated us to several laps of very clean racing. Well, this time it is Ollie Gavin's former teammate, Tommy Milner, versus Antonio Garcia. Round 2, ding, ding. Let's see who wins for Chevy in their backyard.
No points up for grabs for the championship, but a bit of internal bragging rights as well. And with plenty of time to go to the next outing, that could get very interesting as we go into the last 4 minutes of this race. It's IMSA Radio and IMSA TV together. Shea Adam, our VP Racing Fuel Pit and Paddock reporter. Jeremy Shaw with me, John Hindhaugh in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre. Coming up after the checkered flag, the Michelin post-race tech show. The checkered flag ends the race but only starts the conversation. Let's have your submissions, please, to @IMSA Radio using the hashtag MichelinPRT. What questions do you want answered? What do you want to get off your chest? What do you want to talk about? It's over to you, the audience, to set the editorial agenda. And I tell you what, Ross Gunn is hustling. Jeremy said he would have to hustle. He is, and he's pulled a decent gap to the GRT Grasser Lamborghini, which is now in 3rd place. Mark Miller for Gradient in 4th. That would be a great finish for the man who is really on home ground here. 2.5 minutes to go. We come back to green flag racing, and Renger van der Zande gets the green flag, goes down into turn 1 and 2. Following them through in 3rd place, Felipe Albuquerque is trying to get on terms with the 2 leaders. Not a great start for them. They had traffic to pick their way through. Van der Zande weaving left and right down. Oh, just locked up the Michelins for a moment going into turn 3, but immediately came off the brakes, and we're going to get the full DPi field coming back together here, because Albuquerque is setting a cracking pace to try and chase down the leaders. There's about a second between them at the moment, so the first 2 and then everybody else in the class, Jeremy Shaw, battling for 3rd on the podium.
Well, yeah, in overall, yeah, and the GTD guys didn't quite catch up to Jeff Westphal. He had about 6 seconds in hand, and that great lap to catch up by Ross Gunn took him well clear of Marco Mappelli. Behind there is where the battle is, but here they come, those 2 leaders now through the fountain section. No major fuel concerns now. The biggest factor that you had talked about was just getting these tyres back up to optimal working temperature once we went back to green.
Yeah, and a huge slide from Felipe Nasr as we went back. 1 minute 21 as they come to the line. I did not see a white flag there, Jeremy. Now, I may be wrong, but I did not see the white flag there, so let's keep an eye on that. But they've gone through. I was expecting to see it on the start-finish line. Under a minute to go. This could be the battle to the flag. And I haven't seen it on the race control channel yet. So they've gone through. We may yet get an extra lap on the end of this one. But if NASA's got everything, now it's waving. Okay, so it is the final lap, because if it was waving that far back down the field, it must have gone out for the leaders as well. Halfway around the last lap then. Leaders coming towards turn 7. Felipe Nasr is running out of opportunities to get this lead, to tear this lead away from Cadillac Chip Ganassi Racing. What a return to the top step it would be for Chip Ganassi, for the team, for Cadillac on home ground. in the Chevrolet Sports Car Classic here on Belle Isle, in the shadow, literally at this time of day, almost, of the Renaissance Centre headquarters for General Motors. Just another couple of corners to go. Time about to elapse. Here comes Renger van der Zande. Goes through the kink at turn 14 and wins on Belle Isle for Cadillac, for Chip Ganassi. Their first win on coming back to the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. The two Corvettes were told they could race, and Milner and Garcia have put on a demonstration literally this afternoon, and they come to the line first and second, and it will be the 4 from the 3. Westphal goes through. What a race it's been for Carbon with Peregrine Racing, and they will take the win. Best finish of the season for Harter Racing Team in the Aston Martin Vantage. Ross Grun anchors home what has been a great run for them. Then it's GRT Grasser Racing. Then Gradient in 4th position. Absolutely outstanding for them. Till Bechtolsheimer. And then Mark Miller staying out of trouble, working the strategy. They were in early and made it work. Hawksworth and T-Bell for the two Vassar Sullivan Lexus making up the top 6. Jeremy Shaw, what a race, but what a win in the classes, particularly Cadillac Chip Ganassi Racing. I don't think